Master solitude. Be comfortable with yourself. Master self sovereignty. Understand yourself. Master your ego. And ultimately be a master of the multiverse. And I was very mindful not to use the word universe because that is indicative of a singular perspective. But we live in a multiverse with other immortal spiritual beings, other fellow containers for soul energy, for source connected awareness. Master your ego. There is no price too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself, of being in full command of yourself, your own self sovereignty. No price is too high to pay. I'm sharing a window of my YouTube dashboard where I do my creator stuff, and I did a search on my videos, which I've been making videos since my Kundalini awakening in 2021, where my life completely changed, where I was healed from a dark path of life that I was involved in at that time. So I've got like probably, I don't know, I've 2,000 videos. And obviously they're not the most well produced. I'm just trying to present a real message. And sometimes I get a little carried away with stuff, with the theatrics, digital theatrics as best as I'm able. I'm just a regular, Joe Schmo. I'm not a, web designer or video content digital master creator. Well, I will be one day though. But anyway, I'm getting back into guitar right now though. So anyway, I did a search on videos that I had made were 2,000 plus views. There's, as you see, there's only one, two, three, there's 5 of them here. Going back to the first video I ever made, which was actually it's got, almost 10,000 views, 10,000 views. Okay, so the point with this is I made videos about 2 YouTube personalities at the time when I had no idea that there was this Ishmael Perez had made a comment about Elena Denon. And anyway, I made a video about that and put my 2 cents into it. I had no idea that how anything, but those 2 videos ended up being some of my more popular videos, and a lot of comments were made on it and stuff like that. But the temptation at that point was to continue to go in that direction and kind of, if I were solely about trying to get views and popularity on this platform, I kind of immediately saw it for the distraction that it was, if I were to continue along that line. And ultimately I realized that I really had no personal knowledge of either of these 2 individuals. I had my intuitions about them, and I still watch their videos. I just keep my opinions to myself nowadays. However, the point with this particular video, master your ego, master your own energies, master solitude. Be comfortable with yourself, because I'm going to tell you, based on the research that I have recently concluded, and I'm not trying to get into any more controversy, but I am going to single this individual out. And this is purely my perspective. This is purely my opinion. This is based on my discernment, my intuition. I've watched a few live video presentations from Christos Avatar, and I watched enough till finally the last one that I watched on. He has every Tuesday night he has a gathering. I figured it all out. I see the operation. I see how they're working their operation. And I was going to make this video yesterday. I was going to talk about Christos Avatar and the way he runs his business, because it is a business that he's got going on. It's a very smooth little business where it's manipulative and it's predatory with the people that come in the chat room. It's all about money. He's got a system set up how he gets the people to be a member. And then, this is my opinion, keep in mind. But I was going to make this video yesterday, but I decided that no, that's being, that's none of my business. Let him, that's what he does. That's what they do. That's what the people around him, that's what they do. You know what? That's not for me. I know I see how they set their operation up, how they get people in, and I can mimic the operation if I wanted to go along that line and become a money making operation. That's not what I'm into. That doesn't say I'm any more noble. I'm just not motivated to the point where I need to do that, where I want to do that, where I feel that immorality to be taken upon myself as necessary. So the point is, I was going to make a video about that yesterday, but I said, no, okay, no, I'm not going to get into that. However, last night I got a phone call uh, with a Google Voice number that I have associated with my uh, uh, Om Banda New Earth Ashram organization here in Austin, Texas, and it was a phone call from a restricted number, which, for your information, folks, I never answer private numbers or restricted phone call. I never, you know. Uh, so anyway, but the voice message that was left was quite humorous, and I feel that it's probably some of the people that I interacted with on Facebook that were part of the various Discordia groups and whatnot. And but this is all synchronicity. The reason why I'm making this video is because of the synchronicities of this message that I'm trying to communicate to you, dear esteemed viewer, to anyone who is just awakening and is looking for community, because that's really what's being preyed upon with some of the more wizened people. And this voice message that I got last night was quite hilarious. And I feel like they were kind of maybe, poking fun at me a little bit about the ashram, uh, you know, uh, coming from a business perspective, I guess, if you will. But they were basically that the phone message was like, "Hey, is this Tom? This is what were they? Oh, they were looking for the Scientology office." Let me have a little coffee here. So the voice message, they were like, "Hey, is this the Scientology offices? I'm looking for Tom Cruise's son. I really need an audit." And so and the voice message went on for a while, and it was quite humorous, and they alluded to other things, but it was part of this synchronicity of this message, and I'm trying to communicate to anybody who might need this message. And I have a need to vocalize and verbalize this because it is part of my learning experience. And the reason why I invoke the name of Christos Avatar, and what I witnessed and my discernment, what my findings were based on my investigation, is because I saw how it works, and it preys upon people's um, their need to belong to a group, or the weaknesses or the vulnerabilities of a person's ego. And I saw how the operation set up. And in particular, Christos Avatar has, as his admins, he has female admins, and their avatar photos are, they're kind of flashy avatars, somewhat sexy looking women, females. But it's a whole organization, and I saw specifically how they kind of engage certain people in the chat. He gets several hundred people in the chat, and they engage certain people in the chat, and they groom them along to become a member. Oh, yeah, how do you get the green text name for the chat? And they say, oh, well, you got to be a member, and you got to go to this link, and you got to sign up, and it costs this much money. And it's all about money. It really is. It's at the end of the day. But it preys upon people's vulnerability and their egos. And it's part of this matrix system that we're all involved in. And the reason why I opened this video by showing the amount of the videos that had over 2,000 views that I've made was because on those Ishmael Perez, Elena Denon videos that I made, I had the comment section was crazy, with people polarized either or, for Ishmael, for Elena. But one of the people said, they had engaged, they had purchased a reading from Ishmael, and they got scammed basically. And so my response in that video was, hey, you learned your lesson, because there's no price that is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. And I believe that a lot of people are waking up. There's they're coming, they're looking for answers, they're going, and They're seeing, what's out there. YouTube is an awesome platform. Another of the synchronicities that I received, the reason why I'm making this video right now is because of a synchronicity of a comment that I had made on a video some time ago. I can't even remember. I mean, I've been this account that I've had on YouTube has been active since 2013. So anyway, this string of synchronicities with the phone call last night, with the the conclusion of my investigations into the Christos Avatar operation, and seeing the scammy, predatory nature of what's going on there, and this reply to a comment that I had made. I can't even remember when I made it. I could go back and look at the details, but I want to share the comment that I made on this video, because ultimately this is what we're up against. And the comment was one of the string of synchronicities to include the phone call last night and the humorous voice message that was humorous, but it was instructive. People have had bad experiences with ashrams, with organizations. Osho is a rebranding of Rajran Sri Brijesh, who had a string of, Rolls Royces and everything and all that. So, but people, look for community, and ultimately, as we awaken, as we raise our vibrations and we separate the wheat from the chaff, people are going to naturally come together in like communities, people that have vetted one another and know. But then at the end of the day, this is a dualistic world that we live in, and you never stop learning your lessons. And so I said to the person that felt they had been scammed by Ishmael, which it turns out he never even gave them a reading, it was an imposter. I was like, hey, you learned your lesson. No price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. So, I'm not condemning any one person or another or any organization. It's just, you learn your lessons. I personally don't feel the need. I mean, I enjoy Christos Avatar's energy, his presentation. I like the information that he has to share. I don't agree with all of it, but when I saw through the predatory nature of the money-making operation of what he has erected, what he presents within his platform, I was like, okay, enough of this. And it all kind of began with, hey, no one's responding to my inquiries. I'm a attention whore somewhat, but I began to see how the other sort of people that were being engaged, how 40-year-old dork paid money to get a green text name, and then became immediately a darling of the community, but he paid his money to get there. That was my estimation, my findings. I could be totally wrong. I could be totally blinded by my ego, but I believe I learned my lesson, and I'm sharing that now. And I want to share this comment where it says, people, and this is from Wes Penre, from his Orion book, but this is ultimately the kind of scamming that we're up against. People who try to break the cycle of reincarnation and expand their horizons are met by channeled entities whose purpose is to do the exact opposite in the disguise of being teachers and helpers. And above all, we have the ascended masters who are so trapped in En.ki's net, talking about the matrix, that they teach his ascension program to anyone who wants to hear. They should be called descended masters, because that's what they are. And what they are doing is evil. Many humans who are on their way to break free look up to these masters thinking they know more than they do. The only thing they know more about is the matrix and how to manipulate. And again, that was from Wes Penre in his book, Orion Book. But yes, folks, ultimately this path is about your connection to source, your self-sovereignty. And if you give your power away, then, that is perhaps, your soul is taking you along a path to learn, to experience. It's all a wonderful ride from the right higher dimensional perspective. But, there is a war taking place that started thousands of years ago. And you're going to, and then as people begin to awaken, they're going to get in the middle of this war. There's a lot of stuff that's taking place with channeling people into cults of personalities, to new cosmic ET religions, and all of this. But ultimately, when you are in touch with spirit, you become a warrior of the spirit. And the soul is our mental, is the go-between between material man and spiritual man. Your soul, and people live their entire lives without really ever being in touch with their souls. But when you get in touch with your soul, that is one level of your ascension. There, to go all the way, when you touch spirit, when you touch source, you're completely self-sovereign. You get the messages, the discernment, the still small voice of source speaks to you. This uh, breath of divine life, breath of is I mean, all of this stuff. You get these gifts of the spirit, and this is, the lessons that can be learned. Uh, Keep in mind that the soul is still the battleground. There is a war which started with the Big Bang, thousands of millions of years ago, between these two forces of darkness and light, between the Creator God and the unknowable God. The Creator God is the demiurge of the Old Testament, Yahweh, the lizard God, the ET religions of the enslavement protocols of organized religion, and the crucifixion implants. But this war is still taking place, and the battleground is your soul. All right? So this was just a message that I had to get out. I guess I was going to try to ignore it and keep going on, but ultimately, master solitude. I was a big, I'm kind of a weird mixture of energies and whatnot, but my whole entire life, I've been perfectly at ease with being by myself, my best friends, books, studying, and on this path, it has served me well, and I hope this message serves you well. Namaste, namaskaram.